So in case you're watching this on the internet or something, we just listened to an awesome rock song by Social Distortion called I Was Wrong. Like the three hardest words to say in the English language consecutively. Who's willing to admit they're wrong? I heard a guy say one time, giving Alcoholics Anonymous lead, he said, alcoholics are always right. And you know that they know that they're right when they say, I might be wrong. That's when they know they're right. When they lead in with, hey, I might be wrong, but blah, 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 blah. Anyway, tonight's Making Amends, steps 8 and 9. Last week's 6 and 7 is kind of like conversion. I mean, that was like turning away from sin, metanoia, and turning our back to convert. So powerful. Last week, I really enjoyed that. 6 and 7. Total renunciation of sin and the old creature, the old nature, the old man or woman, okay? And turning towards our new nature, our true self, and rejecting this false self. All right, now this week, more damage control here. I love it. This is just a great cleanup operation. Systematic. Tonight we got step 8, which is made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. And step 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So first we got to become willing. Step 8 is about becoming willing. Don't you love the deliberateness? Last week it was becoming willing to have God remove our shortcomings or character defects. So that deliberate nature, really engaging the will and bringing its concentration to a singular point, where there's no room for denial. You're very careful. You have to be very careful about doing these steps. That you don't leave anything out. Because we can do that. Just kind of look the other way, tidying up this mess. We got to get it all out. If someone offered you a brownie and told you that there was a half a teaspoon of turd in there, mixed into the batter. And you can't taste it, don't worry, you can't taste it at all. It's fine. Would you eat it? Sorry for the disgusting image. But would you seriously eat a chocolate? No one would, okay? Unless you were starving. So anyway, the point is, we got to get it all out. These character defects, that's what they're like. They give off a foul odor. And we have to be very careful and diligent about this moral inventory of ourselves. Taking stock of ourselves, going through the shipping room. Looking at the invoices, going through all the shelves, get it all down. You have to be really, really careful about this. But I'm telling you, the payoff is huge when people do this. The payoff is huge. First, really knowing your character defects and being thoroughly, brutally honest about it, and becoming willing to have God remove them, and then turning your back on them and begging the Lord to remove them. Now this week we do a thorough inventory of everybody we've hurt around us. The trail of wreckage we look and we start writing down things. And you think, I haven't really hurt anybody. Start writing stuff down. There's stuff. We all got stuff. Now, once we've made this list of everybody we've hurt, then becoming willing to make amends to them all. To them all. A lot of them, you're going to be like, it's no big deal. Some of them are people we seriously want to put in a headlock and run their head into the wall, perhaps. People that we like to nuke them until they glow or something. You know, somebody that, we really, 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 remember when you were a kid with a purple passion? Cannot stand that person. Somebody that was so nasty to us and destroyed our reputation and blah, 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 and we hit back at them. And then, to go to them and say the words of that song, I was wrong. Oh, man, that hits us where we live. That's hard when it comes to an enemy. But this is what's most beneficial for us. The big book says of Alcoholics Anonymous, that's actually, it's harder to go to an enemy than to a friend, but we find that it is much more beneficial to us. We go to him or her in a forgiving spirit, confessing our former ill feeling and expressing our regret. Under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. We are there to sweep off our side of the street. His or her faults are not discussed. We stick to our own. If our manner is calm, frank, and open, we will be gratified with the result. Ooh, this takes a lot of preparation and prayer. A lot of preparation. So this is tough stuff, and dealing with toxic things here. We need to call out the hazmat, put on the fancy, the orange suit thing with the gloves. I mean, be really careful when we're dealing with this. It takes a lot of prudence. It's where, you know, we have to exercise extreme care and prudence with this. Some of them can be done immediately, easy peasy, you know, somebody at work, you know, or the boss, or, you know, something. Others, you know, maybe it's just best to do a partial one. Maybe we don't want to bring all the skeletons out of the closet, you know, everything. I don't know. Partial. Some might need to be deferred till later. You know, just let the thing cool for a little bit here. Not quite ready for whatever reason. That it could be legitimate to just put that off. Some never. Some are in the never category. So we just have to exercise extreme caution with this. You know, yeah, we wanted this cathartic release and we want to just purge our guilt and go running around everywhere. I'm sorry. I did this, that, and the other thing. But you know what? Maybe the grand equation of things, when we can't do it overtly, perhaps we can do it covertly. So I know people that walked out of Walmart, you know, they had a $20 thing that was in the cart or the bag, and it wasn't until they got out to the car and they're unloading the bags in the back of the SUV, and they're like, "Don't! Oh man, I didn't pay for this item." And then they're like, and they drove off. Then they felt guilty. And then they come to confession. I took some from the Walmart and I feel bad. And so, hey, you know, you could always take it back, or it's $20. Put $20 in the poor box and call it done. You know, it's another. When you can't. There's ways, creative ways that we can make restitution, but we got to become willing. This enemy business, If we don't have the willingness, then we need to pray for the willingness. If we don't have the willingness to pray for the willingness to become willing, then we need to pray for the willingness to pray, to have the willingness to pray, to, you get the point. Wherever you got to start, that's where God's going to have to take us. So we start there. Praying for the willingness to become willing. If you don't have that, pray for the grace to... forget it. We attempt to sweep away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self-will and run the show ourselves. If we haven't the will to do this, we ask until it comes to clean up these messes. Some of them pretty stinky, perhaps. All right. So it's seldom, I like this wisdom of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous about this type of thing. Listen to this. This is good. It is seldom wise to approach an individual who still smarts from our injustice to him or her and announce that we have gone religious. In the prize ring, this would be called leading with the chin. Why lay ourselves open to being branded fanatics or religious bores? We may kill a future opportunity to carry a beneficial message. But our man or woman is sure to be impressed with a sincere desire to set right the wrong. He's going to be more interested in a demonstration of goodwill than in our talk of spiritual discoveries. We don't use this as an excuse to shying away from the subject of God. When it will serve any good purpose, we are willing to announce our convictions with tact and common sense. So balanced, so based on human experience and wisdom, knowledge of human beings and how we work. I love it. Now, the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Let's look at what the Catechism says here about the Sacrament of Reconciliation and making restitution, reparation, satisfaction, or atonement. Okay, these constitute a part of the sacrament, an integral sacrament of confession. Expiating. Okay, so doing something that sets the matter right. Peace comes from justice, ultimately. So restoring the balance, balancing the scales is part of peace. The Catechism says, many sins wrong our neighbor. One must do what is possible in order to repair the harm, return stolen goods, restore the reputation of someone we have slandered, pay compensation for injuries. Simple justice requires as much. Raised up from sin, the sinner must still recover his full spiritual health by doing something more to make amends for the sin. He must make satisfaction for or expiate his sins. This satisfaction is also called penance. I'm going to skip the other quote. Let's hear from the sacred scriptures, all right? How about when it comes to satisfaction, good old, what's his name? Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus, come down from that tree. I would like to dine with you tonight. And man, this guy has this profound conversion. And what does he do? He tells our Lord, if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I restore it fourfold. And this guy just instinctually understood. I need to set the matter right. I got to deal with the mess. So obviously with the 8th and 9th step, you're talking about, someone who's really cleaning up their life in a dramatic way. But we're going to see that as we get further along with step 10, we got to be constantly examining our conscience. We'll look at that next week. And this is an ongoing thing in small ways. So this is applicable even if we're not launching into a full-scale house cleaning of our soul and doing a thorough 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th steps or whatever. This tees us up for next week. when we talk about the 10th step, is just a little weeding. Not letting the thing get overgrown, the garden. Anybody here who gardens, you know how bad it is. Like, goodness, you let go, lose your grip on that thing for a week or two, and it looks awful. Weeds come up so fast, it just takes constant maintenance. So it's like weeding our garden, basically, the spiritual life. The meat and potatoes, rolling up our sleeves. All right, peace. Let's talk about peace. We've been talking about this justice, this expiation, this satisfaction, making reparation, restitution. All right, now, peace is why we're doing this. We want peace in our heart and peace in the world, peace amongst in the hearts of those with whom we have hurt in some way, wronged. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it, Psalm 34. Seek peace. It's something we have to seek. It's something we got to roll our sleeves up and do something. It's not just burn some incense and listen to New Age music and breathe deeply in through our nose, out through our mouth for an hour each day. Those are nice things to do. I do them. No, everything except the breathing part. I do burn incense. I'm just full disclosure. I like incense once in a while. In my room when I'm just chilling. And when I'm reading heavy-duty stuff, I put it on real low, concentration music. It's kind of new agey, Bling, bling. So anyway, and yeah, incense, kind of relaxing. It's kind of nice. All right, but why did I seek peace? Okay, take action, real peace. Sometimes it takes some work to achieve that peace, that harmony. Matthew 5, if you are offering your gift at the altar, our Lord says, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar. Go first be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift. So it's like, wow, the spiritual life, our relationship with God is contingent upon the maintenance of our human relationships and righting wrongs, making amends, forgiveness and reconciliation on a regular basis. Do not give the devil a chance to work on you. Be angry, but do not sin. Do not give the devil a chance to work on you. Romans 12, if possible, so far as it depends upon you, live peaceably with all. It's a nice word. Just, live peaceably with all. It's not always the best thing in the world, I wouldn't say, to confront and, there is a sense in which we need to tolerate people, where we're not being a coward or lax, but just tolerant of people. If we're going to live peaceably, there's got to be some of that, just mercy. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God, our Lord said. And that's really what this is about. The peacemaker, sometimes is the guy who rolls up his sleeves and says, I was wrong, to his enemy, his or her enemy. Wow, it's like going to the lion and removing that splinter from their paw. They're going to be in shock when you walk away. Just imagine what the experience is like for them. I mean, if it's done well, with sincerity and real humility, and not being argumentative, contentious, not bringing up anything, not just, for my part, I was wrong. I've seen it done one time, I remember, and I didn't respond very well. I was kind of just caught off guard, but I was in shock. But this kid used to bully people before football practice when I was a freshman, and I was a wrestler, okay? But I had just gotten into wrestling So I was a freshman, and wrestling season hadn't begun, but I had been wrestling in 8th grade, and the teacher, my gym teacher, told me I should wrestle in high school, and that became my main sport. But this is football practice at the beginning of my freshman year before I joined the wrestling team officially. So no one knew I was a wrestler, because once you get on the wrestling team, pretty much no one messes with you again. That's what I found in high school. I only thought about it afterwards. I'm like, no one ever messed with me in high school. I wonder why that was. Because they don't want to deal with a wrestler, okay? Because always goes to the ground and you're toast if you don't know how to wrestle. So anyway, this guy, he put me in a headlock and was making sport of guys before football practice. And he was a tough inner city kid. And I just had enough and did a single leg, double leg takedown or something like that. I just took him down. And then immediately threw in a half Nelson and pinned him, fully mounted him, and I could have just ground and pounded him if I wanted to, but I didn't hit him. I just showed I had total dominance of him, and he was pinned with his back on the asphalt, and everybody's like, whoosh. But he was being a jerk. You know, he was really being a jerk, and he deserved that. And I just quietly got up off of him, and he was all meek and humble after that. He never messed with me again. And senior year in high school, I was in the stairwell, had the bathroom pass, probably screwing around, cutting class. I don't know what I was doing. But I remember I was alone with Donald Berg in the hall, in the stairwell. And he apologized for that. And he meant it. So that had been on his heart for years. Who knows how he was treated to where he was acting like that, and what insecurities he had for football practice, you know. But he had obviously carried that around and felt bad about it, and he apologized to me. And I remember just being in shock, but I was so impressed by it. I was so impressed. I mean, what do you say? You're just kind of speechless when somebody says like that, social distortion. So I was wrong. That's what he said, basically. And just imagine, you know, when we do that to someone else, how freeing and what a powerful experience it could be from their perspective. All right, until the next time, God bless you.